Hello my friends, this is Sudoku Warrior back to bring you another episode of Simple Souls. In the last exciting episode of this multi-month long series, we managed to pry the Lord Vessel from the cold dead hands of Dragonslayer Ornstein and Executioner Smoth. Well, sort of. So as soon as you've got it, warp back to Firelink and go talk to this peculiar critter that has popped out from the little lake slash pond water feature that was so nicely installed right next to Firelink Shrine. He is King Frampt, and if you've been reading his text as I've been speaking, he basically tells you that your fate is to succeed Lord Gwyn and relight the bonfire that basically powers the gods' powers. So yes, he will take you to a place far underneath Firelink Shrine that will, it's called Firelink Altar, and there you place the Lord Vessel and are tasked with the extermination of 4 very powerful beings that you saw in the intro. Well, you saw a few of them. Your goal is to kill Gravelord Nito, the Bed of Chaos, Lord Gwyn himself, of course, and indeed, which boss am I missing? The 4 kings. They weren't in the intro, though. So yes, we get to see this beautiful loading screen as we wait to be dropped off. You know, you can actually just straight up jump past Frampt if you're trying to make it down that little tunnel thing that he just dunked you down. You don't take fall damage, even though it seems like you're going to die at first. And you go through a little cutscene where you stop, some sort of magic catches you, and plops you down right at the altar. So yeah, wonderful little cutscene. And when you place the Lord Vessel, it unlocks all of the orange fog gates that you couldn't go through before, in case you've ever gone to the end of a really high-level area and encountered them. But yeah, so that's the purpose of the Lord Vessel. Yes, more of you staring at bonfires. It's like every cutscene in this game. And then, of course, this being Japan, there have to be massive beams of light shooting up to heaven at dramatic moments. Oh, I love Japanese games. Dark Souls 2 is actually coming out soon for those few of you that are watching this and aren't entirely obsessed with the Souls series. It'll be coming out next March in 2014, as I've been led to believe, and I can't wait to actually see the ad campaign behind it, because Namco has said that they are going to put all of their marketing weight behind it. There's not really a lot to say here once you've made it down here other than just warp back to Anor Londo. Alright, so this next part, once you've made it to Anor Londo, we will be going after the Dragon Seath the Scaleless, also a duke in Anor Londo, and the one lord that I forgot to mention that you had to kill earlier. He is indeed a giant dragon who is immortal, but that's a problem for later. Right now, all we need to really worry about is getting to his archives. So, head out of the main bonfire, look at the glorious sky all around you, and head to your left, and then make a right out of that building. There will be one giant that you have to fight, but he's just as easy to kill as he is to run past, if you aggro him properly. So yeah. Now that slam attack, I still haven't quite mastered the shockwave hitbox on that, so I'd like to keep my shield up. Well, it's a lot bigger than it looks. So up ahead we have 2 of those mechanical boars, like we had in the Undead Parish. These ones cannot be backstabbed, however, and most weapons, when one-handed, will bounce right off of them. Basically anything short of, I think even a 2-handed standard straight sword bounces off of them. So but since we're using something heavy like the Claymore, 2-handing it will keep it from bouncing. Oh yes, they're pretty brutal damage-wise. I've learned the best way to fight them is just to kind of continually strafe them as they attack you. I have no idea why I'm not holding that with 2 hands, but I guess I wanted to be cool. There's actually a pretty cheesy way to kill these guys. Um, you can lure this one, at least, back out to the end of the hallway that you came in at, as you can see here. He'll charge and, of course, meet an invisible wall, just like so many of the other enemies in Dark Souls. And you can exploit that over and over to get free opportunities for healing and such. And then he just kind of calmly walks back to his place. Alright, so there's one kill. Next one, it's not up around this corner, but it's around the one after that. And interestingly enough, if you're using pyromancies, you can kill it without aggroing it immediately by basically equipping a pyromancy glove in your left hand, leaning around the corner just enough to throw a fireball past it and repeatedly hitting it. But since we're men and manly women, or just hardcore gamers, I guess. Is there a politically correct way to say that? I'm not sure if there is. Anyways, we're just gonna go for killing it with melee. Also in Dark Souls 2, a lot of the really cheesy non-melee things you could do to just get your way past enemies really easily, like shooting things with bows from outside of their aggro range, or getting easy backstabs on things, are apparently going to be a thing of the past if you watched any of the trailers. The backstabs especially. In the trailer, there was a, oh, never stand directly behind those guys. I guess my character just got lucky that time. They do have a backwards kick that's almost as devastating as their frontal charge. Yeah, just repeatedly moved there. See, there it is. So in the Dark Souls 2, one of the gameplay trailers, there was a sort of turtle-like enemy, and as the player was circling around to backstab him, he kind of fell backwards onto him and killed him. So I'm certainly looking forward to losing all of those really cheesy opportunities to get free kills. There's not really a whole lot to this first little bit of the Duke's archives, so not much to say here either. There's a bonfire right up ahead that will lead you to the next area. Actually, within the next couple of minutes, we're going to have our first encounter with Seath the Scaleless. It's one of the few encounters in the game that is actually unwinnable, because Seath instantly regenerates all damage you do to him. Now, I'm not sure if anyone's ever tried to one-shot him, but I would assume it's something similar to how the Everlasting Dragon at Ash Lake works, where no matter how much damage you do to him in any number of hits, he stays at 1 HP minimum. So up in this room, there are actually like 5 or 6 hollows, and they continually aggro from the room next to you. So when you run in there, one will run down the stairs at you, and there will be one hiding to your left. You can aggro them both at the same time, and they're fairly easy to kill. Parrying these guys may not be the greatest option, and as you can see, they're extremely resistant to physical damage, fairly resistant to lightning damage, and since parrying isn't always that great of an option, you can always go for the easy backstab. There is a channeler, as you can tell in the next room, and he does buff these hollows. I cannot stand this area of the game, just because of how much damage everything does, and how that kind of crimps my playstyle. But him being an archer, you can get off some healing opportunities without killing everything in this room. Just never try to heal when some of those crystal normal hollows are around. The crystal golem itself is actually pretty easy to kill. It functions pretty much the same as any other ones you may have met before, and if you haven't met any before, short range, strong attacks, slow attacks. It's basically the motto of its life. If you are playing for, and you have the Artorias of the Abyss DLC, and you've saved Princess Dusk from the Hydra at Ash Lake, which we don't in this run-through, you can... when you kill that golem, it drops a pendant, and that pendant is used to access a portal which leads you to the land of Ulasil, where you can fight dragons and other such creatures, such as the Knight Artorias. It's actually a really fun fight. Anyways, to look out for in this room, I've had weird incidences where this specific hollow soldier aggroes from beneath the staircase and chases me through the next couple bits of the level. But there is a channeler who, if you saw us beating him up earlier, kind of stands in the middle of the floor. He teleports back and forth between the center of the floor right where we just killed him and the staircase with 2 archers on it up ahead. He will teleport back and forth most of the time when you get close to him, but a lot of the time it's just kind of at random. So if you wait behind that gigantic pillar that you can see at the base of the stairs in a second... Nope, yes, you could see it there for a sec. If you hide behind that and just fend off whatever hollows are running at you with swords, you just have some patience and he'll eventually teleport down to you and you can kill him. Alright, so up in this area ahead, there, if you head to the left, you can skip a couple more hollows, and that elevator will take you up to the first encounter with Seath. If you choose not to, however, and you just run past here, you will accidentally probably aggro one of those guys from behind, but these guys can be stun-locked with your claymore, so they're fairly easy kills. Anyways, a lot of the things in here, there's 2 drops that you can get from these hollows. Crystal straight swords, which are decent at best, certainly nothing to ever consider replacing another weapon for because they can't be repaired. And there's some Twinkling Titanite over there if you want to loot it. And Caduceus Kite Shields, which are the exact same thing as the shield that the Knight class starts out with. And we've upgraded from that, so there's nothing here for us, really. Alright, so then take the elevator upstairs. In the next little bit, there's a knight wearing armor with lots and lots of crystal on it up ahead in this little hallway over here. Just like fighting basically any other enemy in the game, he can be staggered by your R2 one-handed, and it's also very difficult for him to parry it, which is basically what this NPC will kill you doing. He does fat roll, though, and he's very vulnerable to electricity, so it's an easy kill. Anyways, there you can see I have basically no souls in anything, because I decided to try to show you guys a jumping shortcut that I didn't realize had been patched, so I died 8 or 9 times trying to record it. Anyways, head up the staircase, there's a crystal lizard there that you can kill, and if you have a rare ring of sacrifice, or just a ring of sacrifice in general, and a lot of souls and humanity you don't want to lose, put it on for this fight, and take off all your armor. You can leave on your hat if you like hats. The goal in this fight is basically to die as fast as possible. You can't actually damage Seath, as he instantly recovers from any damage he takes, like we discussed earlier. The only thing to watch out for here is that beam, which can indeed curse you. And getting cursed, as you will see in a moment, cuts your HP in half permanently. Though if you do have the Ring of Favor and Protection, your HP gets halved, and then the 30% modifier gets applied. So we get to go break the curse soon. I will show you how to do that in the next episode. So see y'all later.